I know for a fact that you have very dark thoughts, very negative thoughts, and nobody knows you're having them. You may think, what an idiot. Or, gee, he's ugly. He got those thoughts. You feel you shouldn't have them. He might be a good Christian, a good Jew, a good Muslim, a good Baha'i, a good Buddhist, whatever. Oh, you're getting these thoughts. You think, am I supposed to have these thoughts? You're upset with somebody, you want to slap them, maybe kick them too. Oh my God, nobody knows you're thinking. I know you're getting those thoughts. Oh, yes, I do. I know you're getting those thoughts. And I know nobody knows you're having them. Somebody could be sitting right next to you. You might even be smiling. And you think, I just like to slap this person. Hey, nobody knows. Disguise it. I know that. I know that about you. When I was younger, I didn't. I'm 84 going on 85. I know it now. It took me a while to figure out what's going on, but I have. Supposed to have chastity of mind, but you men, you're checking a woman out. You're looking at her different parts of her female body and undressing her in your mind. Maybe even having other thoughts to touch or whatever. And you're married. And you want to be faithful to your wife. You want to be faithful to the Word of God. And look what the thought you're having. You go, oh my God. Nobody knows you're having it, though. Oh, your wife doesn't know, or your girlfriend doesn't know. The girl you're having the thought about, she doesn't know. Well, it's the other way sometimes, not as often. A woman might be having a lustful thought towards a man. Her boyfriend doesn't know, or her husband doesn't know. It's hidden. And she might be a good Christian, a good Jew, a good Baha'i, a good Muslim, a good Buddhist, and still getting that thought. Aren't we supposed to have purity of thought? Immaculate mind, immaculate heart. And look what we're thinking, all of us. I'll tell you where it really shows. Look what happens on our roads. Nice people, really good people. Screaming at each other, beeping the horn, flipping each other off. Over nothing. Somebody might cut her off or cut him off. And it doesn't even matter how old the person is. It could be 19. It could be 79. It could be a man or a woman. Are prone to getting pretty angry. 53% of Americans have angry driving issues. Well, at least 2 times more a year they express, not just in their thoughts, but express it towards another driver on the road. 53% of Americans. It's like maybe 175 million people. Well, number of drivers, maybe something like that. 350 million drivers, maybe 175 million do that on our roads. Not just in their thoughts, but it goes into action and words. I know you're having these thoughts. I know you're having these feelings. And all religions teach us not to be judgmental. You're thinking about this person. The person might have gotten your order wrong at a restaurant. You've been waiting for your food. You're really hungry. And you go about the waitress, what an idiot. What an idiot. Really. You're not saying it. You're thinking it. Well, that's not very Christian. That's not very Jewish. That's not very Baha'i. That's not very Muslim. That's not very Buddhist. It's not very nice. And you might even be smiling and joking around at the table. Nobody knows that you just called her an idiot in your mind. I don't care how nice people think you are. They say, oh, you're such a nice person. You know, Joe, he's a wonderful person, so nice, so sweet. and he's having thoughts of wanting to touch this woman. He's having thoughts of wanting to take a baseball bat to that person. But his words and actions are ethical. He's having these thoughts. And nobody knows. Nobody knows that you're having those thoughts. Nobody knows I'm having them. Think, I'm supposed to be above this. I guess I'm a hypocrite. These are thoughts we're having, putting ourselves down, judging ourselves. Or you see somebody, say a homeless person laying in their own vomit, urine, you go, well, how disgusting. What? How disgusting. Well, judge not, lest you be judged. We're judging that person. And that might be the greatest human being on the earth. The person may be staying drunk that way because that person was tortured and beaten and molested and beaten every day growing up and just stays drunk so he doesn't kill you and everybody around you. Might be a great man. But you're going, how disgusting. And you're repulsed. And you go to church, you go to synagogue, you go to the mosque, you go to the temple. You just had that thought. And maybe it even showed on your face. But generally speaking, nobody knows. People think you are what you project you are, what you say you are. So I'm a good Christian. Oh, I'm a good Jew. I'm a good Baha'i. I'm a good Muslim. I'm a good Buddhist. And you go around, you do certain things. People say, hey, he's a great guy. Great guy. They don't know. The rage that's in you, the judgmentalness in you, the sexual impulses in you, they don't know. They just take what they see on the surface and are fooled by us. Fooled. Now, that's what's going on. And the manifestation of that is wars, rapes, crimes. Is a manifestation of those thoughts. But I've got good news for you. That's the bad news about you. That's the bad news about you. That's the bad news about me. That's the bad news. I'm going to give you the good news. The title of today's presentation is Creating a Pure Heart and Mind in a Corrupt World. Creating a pure heart and mind in a corrupt world. The subtitle is Ethical Thinking. Ethical thinking. We all talk about ethical decision-making, ethical action, ethical words, but I was talking about ethical thought. So how do you create a pure mind and heart after what I just said is going on in you? What's going on in me? How do we be? There's nothing pure about that. It's the opposite of pure. You are the opposite of pure, those thoughts. I am the opposite of pure. So what am I talking about? Creating a pure heart and mind in a corrupt world. And whatever philosophy you have, whatever religion you have, we're commanded to have purity of heart and mind. But you know what's going on. If you believe in God, God knows what's going on. Now, I'm talking about God for those who believe as I do. Let me ask you a question. Do you honestly think this is a surprise to God? Do you honestly believe God goes, oh my goodness, what? He's having that sexual thought. What? She's having that aggressive thought. What? She's like judging people. Think God's going, what? I don't think so. God loved us and created us knowing that we have this way of being, that we have an animal nature, a lower nature. Of course, we have the divine nature, an honor nature, a higher nature. So it can't be a surprise to our Lord, to our Creator. It can't be. And still loves us. Unconditional love, knowing we have that. And created us knowing we're going to have those thoughts, knowing you're going to have those thoughts, knowing I'm going to have those thoughts. He didn't say, these are such, why would I want, God doesn't say, why do I want to create such disgusting creatures to have these thoughts? So degrading? I don't want to, why would I want to create that? He didn't do that. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He created us knowing that's what's going to be within us. And he loved us. He loved our creation. Therefore, he created us. Now, I'm going to give you, as a psychologist, I've been in practice as a licensed clinical psychologist for over 50 years. I'm over 84 years of age. I'll be 85 in 5 months. And I finally figured it out. I finally understand what I'm doing. It's good news. There's hope for you. Of course, I was a late bloomer. I started catching on about 70. And then as time went on, I caught on more and more. And so now I'm able to present to you this to help you. I don't want you to feel guilty and downgrade yourself for those thoughts. No. I'm going to show you psychologically how to create a pure heart and mind. But you need to understand something. There's 2 types of thoughts. 2. Number 1, there are thoughts that pop into your mind. They just pop and you're like, boom, oh, there it is. I want to punch that guy. I want to touch that girl. I want to check that woman out. Just popped in your mind. You didn't sit back and tell yourself you want to check out women or her. You didn't tell yourself, I want to just punch guys out that cut me off on the road. You didn't tell yourself. You never made that decision. No, never did. How could it be your fault then that you're having it? How could you even say you're responsible for those thoughts? Why would God judge us for thoughts we didn't even choose that pop in our mind? Who would judge us for it? I don't judge you. I don't judge myself. The thoughts that pop in your mind do not define who you are. It's based on your genetics, family upbringing, societal norms. Family upbringing, genetics, societal norms. You didn't choose your genetics, did you? You didn't choose the society you were born into, did you? You didn't choose the family you were born into, did you? These are the factors that shape you, that shape me. So how could we be responsible for these thoughts that pop into our minds? It's impossible. Just impossible. That's the good news. But even better news for you is the second category of thoughts. A second category of thoughts. And this one you are responsible for. This one I'm responsible for. It's this. It's the thoughts we choose. Thoughts that we choose to have. And I want to demonstrate the power of your mind right now to choose thoughts. I want to demonstrate right before your eyes so there's no doubt that you can do it easily, rapidly, and naturally. Ready? Have this thought 3 times. I wish you well. Good. Have that thought 3 times. Wasn't I right? Didn't you do it rapidly, naturally, easily? I did, and I know you did. If you told a 6-year-old, yes, a 6-year-old to do it, a 6-year-old could do that. We can choose our thoughts. Now, we can't choose not to have those other thoughts. You say, oh, I'm never going to have a thought of lust. Oh, no. I'm never going to have a thought of judging somebody. Oh, no. I'm never going to have a thought of wanting to tell somebody off. Oh, no, I'm never going to have that. You can't tell yourself not to have that thought. You can't do that. I can't do it. But we can tell ourselves, I'm going to have honorable thoughts. I'm going to balance. I'm going to choose to have honorable thoughts. Not to replace all that negativity, that darkness, but to speak a little light into the darkness. Speak a little light into the darkness. And we could do that from the second category of thoughts. So you're getting a thought, I'd like to slap that person. And you have the thought, I wish you well. It's one of the commands of honor. I wish you well. Or one of the laws of honor. Just, I want to slap that person that insults me all the time. I love you, my brother. You're having that thought. I love you, my brother. Well, you immediately choose to follow these negative, destructive, judgmental thoughts that are against our values. You immediately choose to follow it with an honorable thought. So one of the laws of honor is I will follow all negative thoughts immediately with honorable thoughts, with positive self-talk, immediately. That's our salvation. That's how we create a pure heart and a pure mind in a corrupt world. That is what I call ethical thinking. This is how we create ethical hearts, pure hearts, and minds in a very corrupt world. So you get a thought with, gee, he's ugly. You get that thought, I love you, my brother. You're created in the image of God, and I love you. Beautiful human being. You have that thought. I'm not saying you're saying it to the person. We're just talking about ethical thinking. Because from those thoughts come the feelings, come the actions. This is how we create a pure heart and a pure mind. We're not a slave to the negativity, to the animalistic dimension of ourselves. It's there. We can't deny it. It's there. Oh, nobody knows it's in you. Nobody knows it's in me. They don't know what having these thoughts. But we're not a slave to it. As I like to say, we're all a slave to something. So choose your master well. So the secret to creating a pure heart and mind in a corrupt world is to choose your master well, to choose the master to be honorable. Honor itself. God, honor, your highest values. It's very simple. It's not complicated. As you'll start applying that, you have a purity and a light that emanates from you. The pure, noble being that you are. We were created noble. And this is how we manifest our nobility. So, what are we doing here? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I promise you this. I will protect you from me. Your job is to protect me from you. And by that I mean, if I'm getting a bad thought about you, a negative thought, making a bad judgment about you, or want to say something pretty cruel to you, I'll balance it with an honorable thought. I will balance it. Maybe a thought, I wish you well. Maybe a thought, I love you. Maybe a thought about what an amazing human being you are. That's me protecting you from me. And to enter the world of ethical thinking and creating a pure heart and mind is you must protect me from you. You must protect everyone around you from you. Because you know the thoughts you're having. And they're not good thoughts. I know it, you know it. Don't feel guilty about it. You didn't choose it. You're not responsible. You're not to blame. But your job is to protect me and everybody around from you, from those thoughts. And that's the secret to creating a pure heart and mind in a corrupt world. So there's certain thoughts that will help you achieve this. The 4 commands of honor. I wish you well. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality, my problems. I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship. Then one of two, depends whether you believe in God or not. If you believe in God as I do, it's God, you wish is my only wish. If you don't believe in God or wish to address God, it's I seek always to serve my highest values. Those thoughts, you have to say 3 times a day. And you have to do it all your life. Never stop it. It takes 8 seconds. You can do it while taking a shower, driving, sitting on the toilet. Wherever you are, you can do it. You don't have to go somewhere. Just wherever you are, there you are with your thoughts. Do it 3 times a day for life. That's just a framework, a predisposition to responding in a way that's consistent with your highest values, consistent with the will of God. That's how you create a pure heart and mind in a corrupt world. Because we are that corrupt world. It's not just out there. Oh no, the corrupt world is in here. Those thoughts, that's corrupt. He's so ugly. I can't stand that guy. That's what corruption is. All that negativity, hatred, anger. That's the corruption. It's not just out there. It's here. So when we say creating a pure heart and mind in a corrupt world, we're talking about the corrupt world in here as well as out there. And again, I'm not putting us down. It's not our fault. But we are responsible for following it, those kind of thoughts, with honorable thoughts. That is our responsibility. For a lifetime. Now, then we have what I call the bridge. It's tying the world of honor into the world of reality. And the bridge is this. What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? So to achieve this ethical thinking, honor becomes the gold standard. Honor is the gold standard, not happiness. We're not. No, in this way of life, we're not seeking happiness. You ask people, what do you want in life? I just want to be happy. Well, we're not seeking that. We're seeking honor, to live with honor. And it turns out that honor is the foundation for true happiness. You can have fun without honor. You can have entertainment without honor, but you can't have true happiness without honor. And honor is the foundation for having true peace of mind. Because there's no regret when you behave dishonorably, speak dishonorably. You're not going to be at peace. What goes around comes around, bad karma, whatever you want to call it. There are consequences. Now, so you've got the 4 commands of honor, you have the bridge. Then you have what I call the supremacy of honor code. It's really a statement of priorities. You can get by with the 4 commands of honor and the bridge. That's it. But if you want to go even further, the supremacy of honor code is this. Honor before pride. Honor before anger. Honor before sex. Honor before money. Honor before fear. Honor before everything. Honor before life itself. That is the supremacy of honor code. So you're stating to yourself and reminding yourself what your real priorities are in life. Your inner priorities. Nothing to do with whether you get that house, get that job. That's your outer priority. That matters, but not as much as your inner priority. Creating a pure heart and mind in a corrupt world. What I call ethical thinking. Now, there's more to the teachings of honor. I've got 1,018 videos on it. But it's a simple way, simple system that will allow you to achieve purity of heart and mind. It's a way of speaking a little bit of light into that darkness of all that negativity that we hide. We hide from the world. Try to hide it from ourselves, but we can't succeed at that. Now, it's been my pleasure to present to you Creating a Pure Heart and Mind in a Corrupt World, subtitled Ethical Thinking. Now we're going to open up to our beautiful, wonderful, deep audience, keeping in mind what you have to say is more important to everybody else than what I have to say, because when they hear you, people go, oh, I'm not alone, or I'm part of this wonderful community. So what you have to say is always so inspiring to all of us. So I'm going to open it to you now.
Hey, Doc. How you doing, Juan Soto?
Juan, good to hear from you, Juan.
Looking sharp, buddy. Looking sharp.
Well, sharper than usual with my tie. Yep.
Like you brought up, we got to stay out with the negative, in with the positive. Like you said, about being judgmental. We don't know what them poor human beings has gone through, maybe in their lives, back in their childhood, or what created them to put them in that position where, they had, no other choice but to get to that, instead of judging them, just kind of probably try to, understand them and maybe, think about what horrible things they probably went through as a child.
Well, let me add to that one. Very good point. One of the laws of honor is I hope to respond much more to your vulnerability than your negativity. I hope to respond much more to your vulnerability than your negativity. Why do we do that? A person comes, they get negative, they get angry, they get aloof. And you just react negatively to it. You're so angry. How could he say that? We hope to respond more to the vulnerability, because beneath all negativity is vulnerability. That person feels hurt, humiliated, neglected, inferior, jealous, overwhelmed. If a 2-year-old comes up to you and says, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. You don't go, you brat, I changed your poopy diaper, you tell me you hate me? I hate you, brat. No. You say, come here, Milo. Come here. I love you, sweetheart. Come here. I love you, darling. Come on. I love you. Because we respond to the vulnerability. We know the child is hurt. We don't know what hurt him, but we comfort the child. So it doesn't matter if somebody's 222, 102, or 122. They're vulnerable under that. I'm not saying we could succeed at that. But I hope to respond more to your vulnerability, much more to your vulnerability than your negativity. That's the hope. And we recite that to ourselves so we know that we're looking for that vulnerability. And that's another way of achieving a pure heart and a pure mind. Because if we respond just to negativity, which we can't help to some extent doing that, then we enter that darkness ourselves. We become corrupted inside. But respond to vulnerability, which is compassion and is the wisdom of that, then we achieve the purity. You can't help getting some negative reaction. Why you said that to me? You get that thought. But you go, you know what? I know I hurt you. I know you're having a tough time. Your wife left you. You lost your job. Hey, bro, I love you, man. I'm sorry you're going through that. Well, that's purity. That's what the purity is. And that's doable. Their initial reaction to want to strike back, we didn't choose that. Juan, thank you for bringing that up. As always, you bring up amazing points. Thank you. Thank you, Juan.
You're welcome.
It's Joanne. I just wanted to say that, that before I started this program, I did have a lot of those negative thoughts, but the bridge is one of the things that I lean on the most these days, because it stops those angry, negative feelings, and it does shine light into the darkness.
Perfectly said, dear Joanne. Perfectly said. I know this guy. His name is Hugh Fraser. He's always talking about the bridge as the main thing. And I can't disagree with him. Yeah, he's going, that's the number one. Yeah, very good point. Very good point. Very good. Thank you for that, Joanne. Wonderful. Who else had something you wanted to say?
Hi, Dr. Nerenberg. This is Anna.
Anna, good to hear from you, Anna.
I wanted to say something that Juan was talking about. We don't know what people went through when they were children. It doesn't necessarily have to be just children. It can be adults.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. People get traumatized as adults all the time.
Yes,
And get traumatized at work, for example, all the time.
unfortunately.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, somebody, an adult, maybe 40 years old, gets fired. His wife left him. He's an adult. Somebody cuts him off. And he rams his car into him. He was already predisposed to overreacting. Now, certainly responsible for, he felt he couldn't help himself. He still has to deal with the consequences, regardless. So if he's apprehended, he's got to be apprehended and brought to justice and for manslaughter or murder. But still, we wish him well. We understand why he did it. He was overreacting based on losing his wife and his job. We forgive him. We love him. We may have to execute him. We may get a death penalty. But still, we wish him well. That's the secret. Thank you, Anna, for bringing that up.
Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Nerenberg, Diego here.
Oh, Diego in Thailand. Okay, brother.
Yes, sir. Looking sharp, my brother.
Well, I'm tied up. I put a tie on. That's all.
Dapper as usual, my man. Love it.
Okay.
Love it. Doc, so really appreciate the topic here. One of the things that has always helped me when I get those negative thoughts, and you get a lot of them, like you said, it's inevitable. But I know everyone's heard the saying that we are not our thoughts, and one of the things that helps me out, and this is something that you've always said, so I'm just piggybacking off what you said here, is that we are a reflection of the thoughts that we invite, not the intrusive thoughts. Because the intrusive thoughts, you don't control them. You don't control these thoughts that you get, particularly the negative ones. But you are a reflection of the inviting thoughts that you get. And again, this is something that you've always said, and I'm just piggybacking off what you said.
I like when you say the ones you invite. You invite it because you're committed to it, and you invite it because you're reminding yourself of these thoughts 3 times a day. If you don't do it 3 times a day, you're going to become entrapped by your negativity. You'll be enslaved to it. You're just going to overreact. You need to recite these commands of honor, the supremacy of honor code, the bridge, at least 3 times a day. There's many other thoughts, but these are the primo thoughts. And you must be doing it all your life. Otherwise, that's how you invite the good thoughts. You invite the good thoughts by committing yourself to the commands of honor. That's how you invite. When Diego's your reflection of thoughts we invite. But to invite them, we must be reminding ourselves 3 times a day and make the commitment we're going to do that all our lives. We're not going to stop. If you're in therapy, you're going to do it after therapy. You're going to do it until you're no longer on this earth. That's the commitment. That's the commitment I've made. And I've seen the results of that. Yes, very good. I like the word inviting. That's true. But that's the secret of inviting those thoughts. You have to be reciting the commands of honor. That invites the positivity and the constructive thoughts.
By the way, Doctor, I know I've shared this with you personally, but I also want to share with the group here that one of the things that I've been doing with the commands of honor, I actually recite them when I'm in peak flow state. And for me, that is when I'm skipping rope. When I'm skipping rope, when I'm sweating, when I'm out of breath, I say those commands of honor, and I'll tell you this, they certainly strike a different tone. So I'd encourage everyone to do them, not necessarily when you're working out or just whenever peak flow state is for you. Everyone has a different peak flow state. For me, that's what it is, but do them when you're in peak flow state and see if that kind of resonates with you a little bit more.
Well, I think that's a great idea, the peak flow state. Now, when I wake up in the morning, I'm in the opposite of peak flow state. I'm just waking up, and my thoughts are hardly going. I'm at a pretty low level of consciousness. I say a little prayer, and then I recite the commands of honor in the opposite of peak flow state. In fact, instead of peak flow state, I would say low state. It's the lowest state of mind before it's waking up. I do it then as well. So it's good. If you never know when you're going to be in a peak flow state, but it's a great idea. I'm all for it. Also, You want to do it morning, afternoon, and night. And then in addition to that, if you hit a peak flow state, jumping rope, or having a good cup of coffee, whatever it is, do it then as well. It's excellent. But you want to have that 3 times a day because the repetition is preparation for application. You want to make sure you're getting morning, afternoon, and night. And peak flow state be 1 time, but if you don't hit that peak flow state, just keep it coming. Because the key is consistency in all things in life. Consistency is key. Thank you so much for that, Diego. Always enjoy your presence, your input. I love knowing you're there. I love that you're there in Thailand. Yeah, that's good. You're living that. Yeah.
I love that you're here at nearly 85 years on this earth, Doctor.
Yeah, I almost wasn't a few times with heart attacks and prostate cancer. Then I said, okay, now I want to stay alive. It's a full-time job staying alive. In fact, Diana Ara and I wrote a book called Staying Alive is a Full-Time Job. And we're going to nutrition, supplements, exercise, and thoughts. Staying alive is a full-time job. Thank you. Who else has something you would like to ask or say?
Spiritual warfare can bring on negative thoughts.
He was saying spiritual warfare can take on negative thoughts, bring on negative thoughts. It's always a struggle between the good and the evil. People call these other thoughts of violent thoughts or very lustful thoughts that's coming from the evil nature. Some people say, well, that's the devil. Some people just say it's the lower nature. But whatever it is, that's going on, and you have this. The key is, when people think of warfare, they think of they're fighting the devil or they're fighting their own negativity or lower nature. I say, let it be. Don't even empower it to fight it. Don't fight it. Let that negativity be. Or in theological terms, let the devil be if that's your orientation. Let it be. Just make sure you bring in an honorable thought, a godly thought. And you're speaking light into that darkness. It's a balance. You're just balancing it. Don't fight it. Balance it. That's the key thing, is balance. Do not fight this negativity. That empowers it. So, get behind me, Satan. I don't want to have you. You be gone. Be gone. You hear me? Be gone. The birds just grow. They're still here. Why? You're still here. What? I'll let you be. I'm filled with love for this person. I trust in God's will. I wish you well. You don't fight the darkness. You turn on the light. Thank you for that comment. You were very good. Who else has something you'd like to ask or say?
Dr. Nerenberg, I just wanted to share something
Gisela,
really quick.
yes, please.
Since we're talking about this, sometimes what I tell myself is, let it be and you will see it's them, not you. Like I always tell myself that, because sometimes we get lost with other people's negative comments, and probably those negative comments is because they envy you sometimes, because you're doing great and you're positive and things are just falling into place. So I would always tell myself that, let it be and you will see.
Well, that's, Gisela's a great, very creative, very good rhymer, gets these little mnemonic devices, which are beautiful. There's a law of honor that goes with that. It goes this way. It's not about me, nothing personal. It's not about me, nothing personal. That person saying negative things to you, that's what that person does to people. They've done it to people before. They're doing it now. They'll do it again. You get a supervisor that's unfair with you. It's nothing personal, saying nasty things to you, tearing you down. He's done it before. Probably has a history of a bloodbath of people he's damaged. Doing it to you. Do it again. Of course, you can file a complaint against him or her and move forward with it. Try to negate or neutralize the damage. But it's not personal. Typically, it's not personal. Thank you for bringing it up. It's not about me. It's not personal. That helps a lot, not taking things personally. Somebody cuts you off, you react, they disrespected you. No. They just made a mistake. They probably need to get off. They have to go to the bathroom maybe, or they're late for an appointment with a doctor. They didn't mean, it's nothing personal. It's not about me, nothing personal. Hey, I wish you well. I refuse to allow you to control my anger ever. It's one of the thoughts to use in terms of road rage, by the way, the main thought. Well, thank you, Giselle, as always, for that creative jingles that you always have. Thank you. Who else has something?
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I also, you know what song I had in my head while we were having this? That one song, Staying Alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Ah, ah, ah. You know that disco 70s song?
You know what? If you find it, send it to me, because that staying alive is a big theme in my writing. Like, staying alive is a full-time job. And at one point, I was eating to get big and strong. I was a world champion powerlifter. Then I made the decision, staying alive. I like that song. If you find it, just send it.
It's a song by the Bee Gees.
Yeah, just send it to me.
Kept resonating.
No, I like it.
Staying alive.
Send it to me, please, if you have time. Yeah, text it if you have time. Thank you, Gisela. Who else
You're very welcome.
Who else has something you'd like to ask or say? And by the way, you're saying that very nicely. Who else has something you'd like to ask or say?
Hey, Dr. Nerenberg, this is John.
John, right? Always good to hear from you, John.
You too, sir. I can definitely say the commandments, the bridge, speaking light into the darkness is it's definitely helped me. Like I tell a lot of people with my OCD and my ADHD, this is one of the hardest things I've ever had to fix, I guess, in a way. But I can say that now I can have some confidence and know that when I go back to work, I have tools to help me now. So I don't just think of the negative, that I do and are able to breathe light into that darkness, speak light into that darkness, use my commandments, and just do my best.
John, I just love what you're saying. I really do. I love it that you're using speaking light into the darkness, breathing light into the darkness, because that's the process. It's not fighting the darkness. It's breathing light into it. It's speaking light into it. It's a much gentler process. So glad you said it that way, John. Thank you very, very much. As always, John.
Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome, and thank you. Who else has something you'd like to ask or say?
Yeah, hey, Doctor, it's Rex.
Rex, my brother, good to hear from you.
Yeah, you too, Doctor. I just, I love these meetings, and they mean so much to me. I look forward to interacting with everyone and receiving the incredible information that you give to us. You're so wise. And I want to elaborate a little bit about our friend from Thailand. I think it's amazing how he's still connecting with us all the way from Thailand, and with such energy and excitement about this, this conversation we're all having. And, the fact that he says that, we all as human beings have these negative thoughts, and unfortunately it's inevitable. It happens with all of us.
Exactly.
Okay. And it's what we choose to do with it.
Now let me interrupt 1 second, Rex, because that's a powerful point. It's what we choose to do with it, and it's what we choose to think with it.
Yes.
Because that precedes the doing. What we choose to think with it, because there are thoughts we can choose to have. What we choose to do with it, what we choose to say with it, and as importantly, what we choose to think with it.
Yes.
That's the foundation. Rex, well said.
Thank you, sir. And again, Doctor, I just, I think it's awesome that he's connecting with us all the way from across the world.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for acknowledging my wisdom, which comes from the Holy Spirit, and comes from a lot of stupidity on my part, which I saw the error of my ways. It all helped. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Dr. Nerenberg.
Yes, who's speaking?
This is Kayla.
Kayla, good to hear from you, Kayla.
Hi, I just wanted to agree with Rex on that, and I wanted to say that you can only shine light in the darkness. Light shines brightest in the darkness. So it just made me think that without our dark thoughts and without everything, it's like I've been trying to figure out mindfulness for my whole life and thinking that it's associated with like being happy or peace. But really, it's he brought up a good point that this is all a choice.
That's it. We could choose the thoughts to balance it with. One of our great students that we have, she said, it's darkness that makes the stars sparkle so brightly. And she said that, I go, wow. Well, she was quoting somebody on that, but I thought she has very great quotes. It's the darkness that makes the stars shine so brightly. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely true.
Hey, Dr. Nerenberg, it's Bert.
Oh, Bert. Glad you're here, Bert.
Yeah, I made it.
Yeah, good. No, it's always good to have you here, Bert. Always.
I just wanted to just echo a little bit of what was said on earlier by some people, which was just that, I think what we tell ourselves matter more than what anyone else has to say, right? And what we tell ourselves is how we see the world around us. And then that eventually impacts how we feel, right? And so as a result, how we feel then spills over into how we behave, how we act, and how we carry ourselves around. So just consistently exposing yourself to powerful thoughts, the commandments, is really how you try to make it automated so that it's effortless when you need to use it. It's effortless when you need to just kind of deal with certain things, problem solving under stress, and not being so defensive. So I really think that he is just, again, that constant repetition to remind ourselves.
So now I'm going to say something about what Bert just said, which was right on. Here's the secret of it. Reciting the commands of honor in the bridge will change and optimize your inner narrative. The inner narrative that you have, which affects everything, can be modified and directed through reciting the commands of honor and bridge. Absolutely. For instance, grateful for the power I gain from hardship. So something terrible happens. And one derivative of that, by the way, is what's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem? So you go through some disaster, medical, legal, financial, and it's a real problem. Can't make it just go away. But you can tell yourself a different story. You can find a gain in it. And once you do that, you change the narrative. You say, I have this loss, I have this thing going on, but I know it's helping me achieve more wisdom. I know I'm going to be a more compassionate person. So I see the gain I'm gaining from this. I lost my house, but that makes me more dependent on God. All I have is God instead of these material distractions. Still lost the house. That's a really bad thing to happen. But I say, wow, now I just have only God to depend on. I can't just depend on my job that I have. I don't even have income. I don't have a house. I just depend on God. I just have to depend on my own resourcefulness now. And I'm glad to have to do that, to test my limits, test my strength. So that's always there. By reciting the commands of honor and the derivatives and the laws, we change the narrative that Bert was referring to. We change that narrative. We change it. We create a more pure heart and mind. That's what purifies us. The narrative pollutes us or detoxifies us. I have whole kinds of lectures on mental detoxification, but this creates a purity of heart and mind through the narrative. And that's what the commands of honor, the bridge, the laws, the supremacy of honor code is all meant to do that. Thank you so much for saying that, Bert. Right on.
No problem.
This is Kayla again.
Kayla, good to hear from you, Kayla, again.
I just want to agree that the commands of honor have been very grounding in my life since I started, because without them, it's just emotions. And I can aimlessly be trying to be a good person every day, but the next day I'll feel different. I'll be mad at somebody or something happens, and then it's chaos all of a sudden. And the commands of honor really help keep that in check.
Include the laws of humility. I apologize. I was wrong. You were right. I'll never do it again. Please forgive me. I mean, I always live with honor, but I'll die with honor. That purifies the mind. Once you apologize and once you ask for forgiveness, it creates a flow. The energy is unblocked. It clears the air in you and in the other person. But you have to be reciting those commands of honor, those laws of honor regularly, because our pride and our ego, we don't want to do it. But once you have, like the supremacy of honor code, honor before pride, now that allows us to then apologize. And you have to have it ready to go. Boom. Hey, I'm sorry. I've added fuel to the fire. I apologize. I was wrong to do that. Please forgive me. I won't do it again. That creates a purity, a humility, because humility is part of that purity. Arrogance is the opposite. Pride is the opposite. Egotism is the opposite. These are powerful ways of detoxifying ourselves, a way of purifying our minds and our hearts, which I know you want to do, no matter what religion, what spiritual path you're on, what philosophical path you're on. I know you want to purify your heart, you want to purify your mind, your thoughts, and this is the way. Keeping in mind, you have two types of thoughts, some that pop in your mind but do not define who you are, and the thoughts you choose. The whole way of honor is to create an optimal narrative, the most uplifting inner narrative imaginable. That's what we're doing. Wow, wonderful. The points are always amazing. Well, it's been my privilege, my pleasure actually, in presenting to you Creating a Pure Heart and Mind in a Corrupt World. The subtitle is Ethical Thinking.